Hello and welcome to This Grand Life, where we celebrate people who inspire and empower us. And today I am with Meg McCaffrey, who is phenomenal, and you are going to love her as I do, I know. So This Grand Life, I'm Julie Ulstrup, photographer at Julie Ulstrup Photography. And I started this program as a passion project. Meg and I were just talking about this before we started recording, to really lift each other up, because when we let our own light shine, we give others permission to do the same. So Meg, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Glad to be a part of This Grand Life. It's been such a beautiful thing to see coming up, and just all of the wonderful people you've had. So thank you for asking me to be here.
You are most welcome. Now, Meg is, you're a Colorado native, yes?
I am a Colorado native, born and raised.
Yeah, and we met when she was studying martial arts. Mm-hmm. She's also an accomplished dancer, and I would say a brilliant woman with just phenomenal ideas, a great sense of humor. We used to have so much fun in those martial arts classes, stretching. And Meg, you were always so incredibly gracious and just a light in the class. And now I know that you are also in the world. And so that's what we're here to celebrate. So tell me, this is about empowerment and inspiration. So tell me, what does it mean for you what does empowerment mean, or to be empowered?
Well, to be empowered for me, it has a lot to do with the freedom to be yourself, and not just to be yourself, but to be your fullest self. A lot of people say your best self, living your best life.
Yeah.
That's what empowerment is to me, because I think that in our world, and also in just the struggles of being a person in life, you start to hear all these voices and all these influences that say, oh, well, maybe not. And like, maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe I'll just keep this part of myself to myself, because, I don't know what's going to happen if I really bring this out into the world. But when you're empowered, you have the grace to be yourself in a way that isn't harmful to anybody, because when you are your best self, you aren't harming people. So you don't have to be worried about that. You don't have to be worried about acceptance or belonging. You will, because you are your best self. And, when we're our best selves is when we actually fit together with other people in our community best.
Yeah, that's really well said. And I think one of the things I think that all of us experience is that fear, and that, I'm going to stay small because of this. Yeah. So living fully and helping people, allowing people, empowering is to live fully and to live. Yeah.
Yeah. And so being a martial artist and a dancer, I have a lot of body metaphors, and you can think of it like your muscles. Sometimes when we're in a stressful situation, we tense up.
Yes.
We're gearing up to face the challenge, and we think that's okay. If I just squeeze hard enough and tighten up the most, and that will enable me to face this challenge. But it's actually by releasing that and like using the energy of that situation to keep you fluid, to keep you adaptable, to keep you relaxed. That's what enables you to face stressful situations best, not the tensing up, getting smaller, hunkering down. Open yourself, breathe, and you will be able to face the challenge better.
Oh, beautifully said. Beautifully said. Now, as I mentioned, Meg has quite a unique story, and one of the things that Meg and I have talked about is, there is this belief out in the world that millennials are fill in the blank, and it's not a nice stereotype that a lot of people have around millennials. Mm-hmm. It is not my fill in the blank, and it's not a nice stereotype that a lot of people have around millennials. Mm-hmm. It is not my stereotype at all, because I know Meg, and I know many individuals who fit in that millennial age range who are doing amazing things with your lives and having an impact and helping others live fully. Well, in fact, one of the other people on this grand life is also a millennial. So, Meg, share with us your journey to what you're doing now, and how you're inspiring and empowering others, and how you've gotten there.
Well, like you said, it's a very long, complicated story. But in summation, I would say that, after I graduated high school, I had a lot of trouble understanding what my purpose was, understanding what my gifts were, and feeling like I didn't really belong anywhere. And I spent a lot of time traveling around the country doing different jobs. So I've lived in Washington State, I've lived in Atlanta, I've lived in Florida, I was born in Colorado, and I've been everywhere, and I've done pretty much everything. And there are some consistencies. I've always been a writer, I've always been a dancer, I've always been a martial artist, so I've had these things with me, and they helped me through my struggle, and they helped me through some pretty traumatic events that I suffered from for a long time. I didn't even acknowledge that they happened, and they just kind of festered, and it wasn't good. But when I finally started to work through it and heal myself and let myself allow other people to see the more vulnerable side of me, I started to see my gifts come out, because I started to realize that all these things that had happened to me, all the struggles that I'd had, actually enabled me to be more compassionate towards other people and have something to offer them, because I could say, maybe I don't understand your exact situation, but I know that feeling that you're talking about, and this is how I got through that feeling, and I can tell you that it does get better. It takes time, but it does get better. And so that started to develop more and more, and I had a moment a couple of years ago, and most people have a moment, and I definitely had a moment, and I realized that everything that I'd been given to heal myself, to see myself differently, to help others, all of those gifts weren't for me. Ultimately, they were given to me so that I could give them to other people.
Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. Beautiful.
And so 2 years ago, I started researching my own project. So I had been diagnosed with PTSD and have had it for quite some time. And all my life I've been an artist, and I know how art has helped me through that process, not just neurologically, because I'm also a bit of a neuroscientist, a little bit.
A self-appointed neuroscientist.
A little bit. Exactly.
I love it.
I knew my experience. I'd done a lot of research into different types of art therapy, and so I realized I want to marry these two. I want to marry my experience with PTSD with my experience of overcoming it with art. And the direction I decided to point it in, because of some people that are very close to me, is towards veterans. So for the past 2 years, I've been researching and planning starting a nonprofit of my own out here in Seattle now, where I am, that is all about helping veterans overcome PTSD and reacclimate to civilian life through art.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's my big project. I've had a lot of really good progress recently. I've decided to launch it this year. So
this year, 2020, is your launch.
This year of 2020 is my launch.
You heard it here first, yes?
That's right.
First public announcement.
We've gotten, I've gotten a team to help me with. I've got a mentor who deals in starting nonprofits, and we've gotten our first big investors. So we're going to be filing the IRS paperwork in the next couple of months and starting the big time fundraising and grant writing.
Oh, phenomenal. Tell me a little bit, what we talked about before I hit record. Tell me a little bit about your last 6 months and tell me just a little bit, share that with us about what you've learned and how you've done that.
So 6 months ago, I was living in Colorado and wasn't very happy where I was and wanted more, because that is a consistent characteristic in my life. And so I got a job offer out here in Seattle to work for a nonprofit. So I took a leap of faith and I moved from Colorado. I packed up everything. I moved from Colorado, found a place to live, started this job the week I moved. And for the last 6 months, I have been a staff of one at a global nonprofit. It's just me and the CEO. So I've learned so much about leadership, about being prepared, about this, again, something where I find myself pretty comfortable, which is this baptism by fire. And realizing that like once you take the leap, all of a sudden you understand just how much you are capable of.
Oh.
Yeah, like
huge.
You need to expand your space to understand how big you are.
Oh, that's huge.
Like living in the box is something that I most definitely have done for a long time. And I have always been challenged to get a bigger box. You're bigger than this. You can do this. You're not happy. You need a bigger box because you're capable of more. And which is not to say that healthy boundaries aren't very, very good and very, very necessary.
Oh, yeah.
But in terms of capacity and dreaming, I would urge everybody not to put any kind of limit on that, because this world, this universe, this life of ours is so filled with possibilities. They're untold. Like, people say there's nothing new under the sun. It's an out and out lie. There are new things under the sun every day. Every minute of every day is a brand new moment in someone's life and in the life of this world. So don't limit yourself, because if I'm capable of more than I thought, everyone is capable of more than they thought they were. Like, you will find your strength.
Yeah. Yeah. And your passion is palpable. And, I've known this for a long time, from back when we studied martial arts together. And I love that we can feel it even here in this recording. So thank you for just giving us that. Do you have a story that you would like to share with us about somebody who empowered you, about your journey, and it can be a specific somebody in your life, or it can be somebody, it can be you don't have to say their name, but you're welcome to also, of course.
Well, I haven't told her about it, so I'm going to leave her name off it for now, but everyone who knows me will know who this person is. The friend of one of my closest friends, or the mother of one of my closest friends from high school, I became very close with a couple of years ago, and we shared a lot of really deep life details, a lot of life struggles, and we had a very similar story, and realized that we were able to connect again through a lot of our pain and a lot of our struggle. But what was amazing to me was that she made decisions in her life, bit by bit, with support. She made decisions that radically changed her life. And because of those decisions, her life now doesn't bear any of the wounds it otherwise would have if she had decided to just accept all of that pain and just say, okay, this is my life. This is what life is. This is the best that I can hope for. I guess I just have to stay here. She didn't do that, and she made such hard decisions, but they were such good ones, and she broke out of her boxes and out of her pain and out of her false beliefs that she wasn't capable of anything, and she built a life for her family that is beautiful. Like, she has one of the healthiest families I've ever known. Her children love her. She loves them. They have a great relationship. And she spends all her time empowering other people. She has her specific set of skills.
Sure.
And she's done a lot of research too. But she's so good at guiding people where they need to go. And that's what she did for me. We met, we had conversations over coffee and tea, and she always asked me the right questions. And she always challenged me, if you're in pain, why are you there? If this isn't healthy, why are you there? This isn't what you want. Why are you there? Why are you doing that? If you don't have a good reason, then leave.
Wow. And that is so empowering. Saying too, Meg, is a big difference between she empowered you. She didn't say, oh, poor thing. She didn't,
she didn't enable me. She didn't say, oh, you, like you said, you poor thing, you've been through so much. Here, let me just give you everything. She said, she understood my pain. She understood the struggle, but she issued me the challenge. Yeah.
In a really loving way, it sounds like.
And just absolutely loving. She's been so supportive. She has said, if you ever need to talk, if you ever, like, whatever you need, like, I will help you get that. But when it came down to choices, she always she put it out there and she said, what are you going to do? Because, and this is what I realized that she has done in such a great mom way.
Yeah.
By presenting me with a choice and letting me choose it for myself, it's an opportunity for me to value my own life.
Yeah. Wow. And yes.
To have my self-worth come from within, because, she's a great woman and I love her a lot. And she could totally just say, oh, your self-worth comes from my affirmation of your self-worth, which is important. But she understands that it has to come from within. It has to come from your own choice to value your own life and your own health.
Wow.
And your own gifts. And so she's been such a tremendous blessing. I could never have imagined someone like her, but she just came into my life. There she was, this perfect woman who was exactly what I needed to believe in myself again. Because I'll be perfectly honest, I didn't believe for a long time that my desires in life were good, that I really had the gifts to accomplish it, and that even if I tried, that I would just fail. I really, really believed those things. I even believed that I wasn't worth protecting.
Wow. And you are such a blessing, and to know, I didn't know this story about you, so thank you for sharing it with everyone. And maybe your friend's mom will watch this and then she'll know.
She probably will.
That's awesome. And I love that you are also in a place where you're saying, I'm going to use the gifts that I've been given, the pain, the muddled powerful part of it, all of that, because it's made me who I am, and open that to a large community and have an impact and make a difference, and empower those people that you help. Because there's, as you said, there's a huge difference between empowering somebody and just saying, oh, here, you're good, you're good.
Here's your handout. Like, everything is fine. Nothing, you don't need to make any decisions anymore. That's not empowering. It's actually the opposite ultimately. Because when you're empowered, you make those decisions to value your own life. And when you do that, you value the lives of other people too. You value their gifts. And then all of a sudden, we've got a community that's abundant and life-giving.
Yeah.
And that's what it took. All it took was to value your life and gifts, and to value the life and gifts of other people. And there are bumps, there are challenges, but when you have that core value, you know it's worth overcoming them. It's worth figuring it out.
Absolutely.
My big
so powerful, Meg.
my big thing in life is actually storytelling. I think it's this incredible aspect of what it means to be a human being, and we do it in so many different ways. I consider all art to be storytelling of one kind or another.
Yes.
So I'm really honored to be here to tell my story, because what I want to do ultimately is give people an opportunity to tell theirs, especially when we live in a very divided culture right now. That regardless of who you are and where you are, listening to other people's stories makes you a better and more compassionate person. But in order to change other people to be more compassionate, you have to have the courage to tell your story.
Amen.
Amen.
So true. So true. Is there anything else you'd like to share about your nonprofit here in this platform?
Well, once the IRS paperwork's filed, we're going to be fundraising. So I have never said no to a large amount of money for a project. So be as generous as you possibly can, because it'll be out there and it'll be needed. The other thing I would say about my nonprofit is that there are a lot of people who've told me that it's not worth it, and that I not just that I can't do it, but that, well, what's the big idea? What's the big scheme? And I think that is part and parcel with this idea that compassion is something that just kind of fades, and it's not very practical, which is something that I've heard before, that it just, well, it's nice, but people have to get on with living. But I think that undermines what it means to be a human being, because when we live life compassionately towards other people, and when we receive the compassion of others, it not only improves your quality of life, but it improves your capacity to live your best life.
Wow.
So that's what I would say. So whether you support me and my nonprofit, or whatever you do, be more compassionate, because it will improve your quality of life and the quality of life of other people, and you will start to see your capacity for an abundant life expand.
Wow. So well said. So well said. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
And thank you for being on This Grand Life, Meg, where we celebrate the people who inspire and empower us. I'm Julie Ulstrup. Amen is right. I'm Julie Ulstrup. I got tears in my eyes.
Oh.
If you would like to leave a comment below, leave a comment for Meg, a comment for me, please feel free to do so either in the comments here on our channel or on our social media. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for watching. Thank you again, Meg, for being here and for the work you're doing with veterans. Of course, you know, veterans have a very special place in my heart.
Yeah.
And more than that, for you living a life that is just big and grand. It's a grand life.